Alright, I want to quickly run through the rest of our schedule for the remainder of the season. LSU, of course. And I'm going to give you my thoughts on it, where I think we'll end up. Well, next Saturday we have Jacksonville State. Like I said earlier, there's a chance for Miles to throw Etling in the game, see how that's going to go. I think it's our best option at this point. I mean, you just know what you're going to get out of Brandon. Um, you know, I think if he has any, you know, brain left in his head, he would do that. You know, I can imagine come Monday, some fans are probably, already out for his head for him to be fired. But we have Jacksonville State. I think we'll get that dub. Um, Maybe Etling will play the majority of the game, like I said earlier. But Brandon will come out and start. Nothing new, less Miles logic. And then we have Mississippi State. They today in their first game they took a hard L to I think it was South Alabama. So that's very disappointing. I mean I think we can get that dub as well. Might be harder than you expect. This is all assuming that Brandon Harris starts for the rest of the season. And I mean, as an LSU fan, I mean you have to assume that knowing Les Miles. I mean that's just that's the end of that story. But and then that's a home game by the way. And then on the 24th we have the Auburn Tigers at Jordan Hare at 1 o'clock. So it's not a night game. I'm really thankful for that. I mean, I know it's still at Jordan Hare, but there's something about being playing at Auburn at night. I mean, it's like Auburn turns it up to a different gear. Um, Tonight they just gave Clemson a legit run for their money. You know, so that's gonna be a tough game. Can't really call that one, but if I'm gonna give you my prediction, I'd have to say we might squeeze that thing out with a field goal. I mean, this is maybe. I mean, you always have to factor in the fact that Brandon Harris is probably gonna start the game. So I'm gonna say we get that. I'm not trying to be biased. I mean, it's gonna be a close game, maybe 2 or 3 points. And on the first, we have Missouri. I think we should win that game. I think Leonard should run wild in that game. I don't think I think they're pretty weak. I mean, they're in the East. The East is overall, a little weak now, right now. Then we have, on the 8th, we have Florida. And it's at Florida in the swamp, 1 o'clock. I think we're going to lose that one. I think Florida's defense is, Florida didn't really show too much tonight against UMass, but I think Florida's defense, Florida always has a decent defense. They're my pick to win the East. I don't know how Luke Del Rio will be. They have the kid we recruited, Felipe Franks. I don't see him, ever seeing the field this season. I think they'll run with Del Rio. I think we'll lose that one. Simply, I mean, this is now assuming that Harris is the starter every game, like I said earlier. But I think we're gonna take that L. Then we have on the 15th Southern Miss. That's a pushover kind of game. I expect Fournette to do what he does. Just he's gonna. I mean, and by the way, in these games I've picked for us to win, like Jacksonville State, Mississippi State, Auburn. I mean, he's gonna have to carry the load. I mean, what do you expect at this point? I mean, I can't expect anything out of Harris. I just can't do it, man. Like, Fournette's gonna have to carry the load. Vintage LSU offense, line up in the eye, hand it to Leonard. Nothing new. And then we have Ole Miss. Now, Ole Miss, that could be that's gonna be tough, you know. I think Chad Kelly is the best quarterback in this conference. They still have somewhat of a pretty solid D, I guess you could say. Um, they got playmakers on the outside. They're gonna really put pressure on our defense to make plays. And I mean, I think our defense is gonna be really nice this year. I really do. I mean, we got playmakers, Jamal Adams, Tre'Davious White. I mean, we have, Gotcha and Neal on the line, Beckwith at linebacker. I mean, we have Kevin Tolliver also. We have a pretty solid defense. I think we should have a top 5 defense, at the end of the year. That's just, and we hired, new coach Aranda. So, that's that. I mean, I think we're going to get that win against Ole Miss. I really do. I mean, I think, it's going to be a grind it out, quarter to quarter type of game. You know, every first down is going to matter. Every score is going to matter, obviously. And then we're moving on to the 5th, Alabama. Now, Alabama looked really good tonight against USC. I don't really think the two teams match up too well. I mean, USC got some playmakers. They got some good defensive players, a solid running back, and Juju Smith. But they didn't match up too well with them. And Alabama, I mean, they always seem to blow, their opponent out week 1. They're always playing a pretty decent opponent. Like, a few years back they played West Virginia. Kevin White was on that squad. They gave them a pretty decent run for their money, but honestly, Alabama with their front 7 with, Tim Williams and Jonathan Allen, they still got Nika Fitzpatrick. They're going to be tough. And I mean, I honestly, with Brandon, I can't see us winning this game at all. That's another loss. Sorry. But I mean, I'm just being honest with you guys. And then on the 12th, we have Arkansas. It's at Arkansas. Brett Bielema, seems like he's, turning that program into, something special. Like, 8-win or more team, every season. They lost Collins last and Brandon Allen and Hunter Henry. And that's 3 big-time pieces to lose off offense, the way they contributed. And I think we're going to be out to get revenge against Arkansas. I think we'll win that one. And then we have South Alabama. There's nothing to really discuss there. I think we'll get that win. And then the last game of the season, Texas A&M. New quarterback Trevor Knight looked really good today. They played UCLA. He faced off against, Josh Rosen, in my opinion, one of the hottest quarterbacks in the country. He's a hot commodity, and this is, in my opinion, when he's draft eligible, I think he'll be the number 1 pick. I mean, he's shot, A&M won today. Trevor Knight played, better than Rosen, and Rosen, he didn't really play up to, some people's standards, and I understand that. I still think the dude is one of the best quarterbacks in the country, and he deserves, that title. But Trevor Knight's got some, major weapons on the outside to play with, and their defense under, the chief, John Chavis, it seems like they're, really getting better. They contain some, pretty big run plays from UCLA today. Last year, their run defense was pretty bad. I think they're getting better. I think we'll win that. So I have us for the rest of the season. This is with Brandon Harris as the starting quarterback. Losing to Florida and Alabama. And, going 9-3. And if that's, if that's the case, if that turns out to be, the way we finish the season, 9-3 is not good enough for less. And I think he'll lose his job. I don't know who we're gonna bring in to replace him if this happens. Of course, my personal preference is if there's any way. I mean, I know Tom Herman. I mean, he's turning Houston into a legit contender. They just knocked off number 3 Oklahoma, and I don't think he's gonna leave that school. I think he's really creating somewhat of a dynasty there. But that would be my personal preferred coach to have, because I mean, obviously, our passing game is really bad right now, and he seems like a coach that really works good with spread offense. You know, he's got a quarterback that can sling it. So if he could, if we so hire him, and he could do that to our program, that would just make us a lot better. I'm not saying that he would have the success Miles has had at the school, the university, but I would really like a change if necessary. You know, and honestly, I said we would lose to Florida. I mean, and Alabama. I hope I'm wrong. I hope we run the table, but I'm trying to be realistic with you people. I just don't think it's gonna happen. Not with Brandon Harris, under center. I don't care, man. Like, even if we have to bring out Justin McMillan, I mean, I know he hasn't he hasn't played yet, and he's young, but I mean, my goodness, man. Like, I feel like I speak for every LSU fan when I say, we can't take much more of this, Brandon Harris, bull crap, man. Like, it's getting old. Like, you see UGA today that, they played UNC, got the dub. They made a change at quarterback. I mean, Lambert started, but they made a change. They recruited a 5-star quarterback, Jacob Eason. They recruited him from all the way across the country in the state of Washington. And I mean, you see, the instant change, that it made to UNC's defense. I mean, it's like they seen a different animal, when they walked onto the field, when Eason walked onto the field. And it opened things up for Chubb. And I'm going to give you my take on that. Nick Chubb rushed for, I think, 222 against UNC. Man, I know they don't have the strongest run D, but in my opinion, right now, he's got to be coming out of week 1. He's got to be the front runner for Heisman. I mean, the dude just come off of an ACL injury and showed absolutely no signs of of even being affected at all. I mean, that is remarkable when you think about it. But yeah, those are my predictions, man. And if that's the case, like I said, Les Miles is gone, man. We can't put up with this, bro. Can't do it. I mean, we have so much talent at this university, and we just don't know how to use it the right way. Well, not we. I mean, I'm not saying we. Like, I'm saying Les Miles, Cam Cameron, too. I mean, some of the play calling is just pathetic. But yeah, I'm just gonna end it here. But those are my predictions. I'm gonna stay updated, with this YouTube throughout the whole season. I mean, I feel like I have to get this off my chest, man. Like, we're sick and tired of it, man. We're better than this 0-1. I mean, I know all credit to Wisconsin for beating us today, taking that dub, but we're better than this, man. We had national championship aspirations this season, but man, I don't know. But yeah, guys, those are my predictions. Like I said, I'm going to stay updated throughout the season. Alright, man. Stay good. Peace.